Well. I'm actually glad to say that our spikes haven't failed us yet, and this challenge has not yet been deemed impossible. But this might or might not change today. Let's see for once and for all, can you beat PvZ2 with only spikes? Now, Jurassic Marsh, doesn't really have a lot of new zombies or really any really creative new zombies, which I don't know why I'm saying really don't, because they don't, like, at all. The main thing is they're dinosaurs, so we're going to be going over all the levels when the dinosaurs are introduced and all the levels that are extremely hard, of course. Day 2, the first dinosaur we get is the Velociraptor, of course. When you think of dinosaurs, the Velociraptor is definitely one of like the top 3 that comes up, besides like the T-Rex and maybe even like the Triceratops or something. Yeah, as a kid, this is definitely was my favorite world, and I'm sure it was a lot of people's favorite world just because of the dinosaurs. And I think they actually did a good job, well rounding like every single dinosaur and different like abilities. They got everyone's like favorites, except I feel like they should have added like a Triceratops instead of like a Stegosaurus or something, but and maybe some other favorites in there, but they can't incorporate everything. But back to the day, the Velociraptors aren't really challenging because they only kick them a few tiles, and also the only zombies that don't die to our spearmints immediately before they can even kick them are the Bucketheads and the Triceratops skeleton wearing zombies. Day 4, they immediately threw a Buckethead zombie at me, so I don't really know what they want me to do about that. Wait. Huh? Oh, I had 400 sun? Yeah, I don't know what I was doing there. But yeah, this level the Raptors literally did nothing because I had 2 rows of spearmints that killed the Bucketheads and the other skeleton zombies. So they basically did nothing. They just walked back and forth acting like they weren't there to kick zombies at me. Day 5 is basically the same story for the Raptors, but one thing I learned actually is that, an Iceweed takes out a regular zombie. Well, if it's at the very back tile right beside the lawnmower, the zombie actually still gets to the lawnmower before. At least that's what happened in this case. Maybe I was a tiny bit late with the Iceweed, but still let it go. Day 6, we get to see the Stegosaurus, which I still think should have been like the Triceratops. The Triceratops is just way too iconic to not be in this, but I guess I don't know what the Triceratops power would be, like throwing it with its horns or something, I don't know. But also the Stegosaurus just looks very, very evil for some reason, but I guess in this case the dinosaurs are pretty evil for throwing zombies at me. Day 8 went pretty smoothly. There were a ton of Stegosauruses and Velociraptors, and at the end I put down a perfume shroom in the middle where there were no dinosaurs to just flex my dominance over them. Day 10 has the pterodactyls, but they honestly really don't do anything because the whole mechanic is basically like, the old man from the Wild West. He eats your defense from the back, but since our cactuses just hide, it basically does absolutely nothing, and if anything, it helps us because they might pull a strong zombie, and the zombie has to walk all the way back to the other side of the lawn, stepping over all the rocks again. Day 15, we had to protect the primal walnuts, but that wasn't even the issue. The issue was this raptor kicked 2 zombies past my primal walnut and this Iceweed, and then immediately turned around like he didn't just do that shit. Also, is it just me, or do I think that if a lawnmower goes off in a lawn that like a dinosaur is on, I think it should at least scare away the dinosaur or something, dude? Because like if you're already struggling enough where you lose a lawnmower, you probably need to get rid of that dinosaur too. Day 18 is the T-Rex, and the T-Rex is actually really annoying, especially since we don't really have the damage output other than like the spearmint to deal with these Bucketheads and the freaking bone zombies. And even with the spearmint, they walk past it. So with the T-Rex zombies, they like run past it and they barely even get damaged. So I basically lose like all of my lawnmowers at the start, but Jurassic Marsh has this pattern where they throw everything at you at once, and it doesn't really last long. Like there's not a bunch of waves, it's just like 1 or 2 waves with a bunch of zombies and a bunch of dinosaurs attacking you at once. Day 20, you had to produce 2,000 sun, and Usually levels like this are pretty easy because they give us a ton of plant food where I can refresh the gold bloom or something. But we actually did not get a lot of plant food, or I'm pretty sure we only got like one. So I actually lost on the first try, so we had to run it back and utilize the sunbeam this time and actually get most of our sun from the sunbeam, and like wait for an extra cycle of the gold bloom instead of using the plant food on it too early, and then we eventually got the win. And what I meant by waiting for an extra refresh on the sun bloom or the gold bloom is that, as you can see in the bottom here, I'm continuously slowing this bone zombie, and I'm using an ice weed to give it the slow effect, but scooping it back up so it doesn't do too much damage. So I just wait for my gold bloom this whole time. This is actually the most tedious thing I've ever done in this game. Just to complete and get 2000 sun is actually kind of crazy. Now this is what is difficult about dealing with the T-Rex, is that I can put an ice weed down and it slows them, and then when they get past the ice weed or get kicked past like it did in this situation by the Velociraptor, they keep their speed and run all the way through. Like, what? How does that make any sense? And the T-Rex was already gone. Like, when they were in the ice weed, they sure did look slow to me, bud. Like, it didn't even look like, it was like the normal slow for the ice weed too. It wasn't like a speed up slow. Like, it really did look like they lost their speed from the freaking T-Rex, bro. And he was gone. Bro was gone. Was he manifesting? But then I saved my spearmint for that situation, and it ended up being okay. And then we have the infamous line of ankylosaurs. Holy, this was annoying to deal with. Ankylosaur definitely is the most annoying dinosaur, pushing every zombie literally to like two tiles away from your lawnmower. But luckily this all happened really fast, so, and there wasn't very much zombies actually. And that's literally it for all of the difficult levels in Jurassic Marsh. And now onto the worst world ever, Big Wave Beach. Now the biggest problems of this world is going to be the tide, the squid zombie, and the fisherman zombie basically. And day 7 is where it all starts with the tide, which the water covers the whole entire lawn at one point. Now for some reason cactus can't be planted on lily pads. And I'm guessing that's because he can't really go underground in a lily pad. That wouldn't make sense. Well, why can't they just make it where he doesn't go underground on a lily pad, but instead they just make it where you can't place him on lily pad? So basically, our cactus is cooked for this level eventually. Now the even worse thing about these water levels, and if the whole thing is filled up, is that our spikes actually get eaten when they're on a lily pad over the water, which is absolutely crazy, and it doesn't even take a while either. Like, you're telling me a gargantuar can hit a spike rock 3 times before it dies, but like a regular zombie can chew on it for like a few seconds and eat it? Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Day 11, the surfboard zombies are here, and they're not really a huge problem, but if they do get too close to the front of the lawn, you'll just have a surfboard there for the rest of the match and not be able to place anything there, so that's kind of lame. But yeah, the levels don't get like extremely hard until like the surfer zombie or the octopus zombie come around, but each level I have to like literally pay attention every second to, or I will lose. It's actually crazy how every level is literally like a 10 out of 10 difficulty, bro. Day 13, the whole lawn gets consumed by the water again, and there's just one row of lily pads, so we literally just used one spearmint, and we had to just use that one spearmint the entire time to kill all these zombies. Now, since you know the whole water is full of, or the whole map is full of water. Why would I say the whole water's full of Since the whole map is full of water, you know, they don't send many zombies, because that would literally be like an impossible challenge even for like normal PvZ goers. So they don't send many zombies, and they don't send very powerful zombies. So that's why this level is actually really possible. Day 15, I remember vividly. I remember beating up my tablet as a kid to this level, but this level is actually pretty easy when you know you're older and you actually have a brain, and also for this challenge, because the spike rocks do incredibly well against all these zombies, especially since the tide doesn't really stay up very long. Day 20 is the level I despise. The squid zombie and the water goes all the way up to the lawnmowers. Like, can you literally think of a more lethal combo than that? what? Like, first of all, all my cactuses get wiped out, the things that should probably be able to take care of the squid zombies, but they don't really anyway. So after my cactuses disappear because of the water, the only way to deal with them is with plant food. Also, not to mention that the cactuses barely do anything to the squid zombie anyway. They barely do any damage to him, and he has a ton of health for some reason, dude. Like, they gave the most annoying zombie like the health of a gargantuar. Like, for what? My first attempt was pretty bad, to say the least, but to say the most. My second attempt, I was so close, and I had 2 plant food and only 2 lily pads, and I had 600 sun. So I paused the game to think of a strategy and what I could do to actually beat this level. And then finally, I made it to the last wave with all of my lawnmowers, and I didn't have to worry about a thing. And then I realized I have a ton of more levels to go, and I'm scared. Day 22 is the fisherman zombies are here. And basically, I'm going to tell you all you need to know about the fisherman zombies for this challenge. So, yeah, they pull cactuses, but they don't pull spike rocks unless the spike rock is on a lily pad over the water, or unless it's a tile directly in front of the fisherman. Even if it's not in the water, they will still pull the spike rock. Also, if the cactus is at the very back of the lawn and there's a spike rocks in front of it, it will pull the cactus and knock the spike rocks forward until the spike rocks and the cactus finally get flung off. Day 25 starts off all innocent, showing you that you have 3 whole rows of tiles that are untouched by water. The only catch is you can't spend 3,000 sun, and that right there is exactly what makes this level so difficult to do. Is because with all the squids being thrown around and covering everything, and the fishermen pulling everything I own into the water, and the sheer amount of zombies, the surfer board zombies, it is impossible to complete this level in this challenge without spending more than 3,000 sun. Every single time I've lost is because I've had to spend over 3,000 sun protecting everything from all these zombies. Like, look, I've already spent half of my sun. Like, look at this. All of my lawnmowers are gone. I'm already scrambling to try to deal with every zombie here. And then as I'm placing stuff, I get a thing that says, spend no more than 3,000 sun, you lost or whatever. Like, dude, I was already fighting for my life about to lose from the zombies themselves. I don't need you to tell me I lost because I spent too much sun. And I tried this level for about 45 minutes to an hour, I'm pretty sure. And every single time I lost because I spent too much sun trying to defend these hordes of zombies, not even because of the zombies themselves. This level is officially impossible for this challenge. And speaking of, 2 more levels in this world are impossible. Day 27, I mean, just look at this. It's basically like the last world, but with fishermen and squids. Like, quite literally, how am I supposed to do this? And I didn't even mention the kicker yet. The kicker is that they only let you use 2 plants that you get to choose. And then the last level, to my greatest ability, is also impossible. There are just way too many fisherman zombies, and I don't have enough ways to stop them besides the cactus and the sunbeam, and that's literally it. As soon as the fisherman zombie gets their grubby little hands on my guacodile, it's over for me. Not only that, but the octopus zombie is like throwing squids at my cactuses, like as the fishermen are like straight up grabbing my guacs. And that is basically it for all the hard levels for the rest of this thing. I know you guys would probably want me to go over modern day, but I promise you there is literally nothing to go over. There are no new zombies to explain except for like the football zombie, newspaper zombie, and like balloon zombie, which I'll get to in a minute. But quite literally, these levels were a cakewalk with Spearmint and everyone else. Like, genuinely, since there are no new zombies and it's just zombies from every other world, I would literally just be explaining just like strategy of spamming spearmint on like a 2 out of 10 difficulty world. Like, this world is genuinely insanely easy. The only hard level was day 30, which you're looking at right now. And also, it wasn't even hard about the trample of flower part, because this is like the only trample of flower level where the spike weeds actually cover the flowers. So that was great. But anyway, out of all the worlds in this challenge, I'm honestly proud to say that Big Wave Beach was the only one that stumped this challenge, and stumped it a total of 3 times, while everyone else, we breezed through all the other worlds, you know? Like, I'm not disappointed in saying that we lost to Big Wave Beach. I mean, Big Wave Beach is a pain. Anyway, I will now show you the tier list of my remaining zombies. Okay, in this tier list, we are going to be ranking Jurassic Marsh, Big Wave Beach, and a little bit of Modern Day, since, you know, Modern Day is a mix of every world zombies, but it has a little bit from, you know, PVZ1. Also, hopefully, this tier list doesn't have any of that clicking noises, so let's get into it. Okay, first, Jurassic Marsh. The T-Rex, I'm going to say very difficult. It made the zombies extremely fast, and since we weren't able to use the perfume shroom, every single lane with the T-Rex immediately bum rush us, so we either had to put an ice weed or lost a lawnmower. But also, there would be times where they got past ice weed and the T-Rex boosted them again, so they went even faster that time, so I don't know. Next is the Velociraptor. I'm going to put him at minor inconvenience compared to all the other dinosaurs. He's not crazy good, but he does push him, you know, a little bit. But when I use spearmint a lot, they usually killed or weakened a lot of the zombies that he was kicking, you know, before he even kicked them. So it wasn't really that bad to deal with him. The Stegosaurus, it was like, it wasn't even like it was hard to deal with him, really. It was just like, I had to watch out for his attacks. Like, it was something I had to look at and had to react to, but it wasn't something that was actually threatening to the run. Okay. And now, the Pterodactyl, because the P is silent. I'm going to say he is trash, since our cactuses hide from him. And basically they just make it where the zombie has to walk the whole lawn, walking over all the spikes again. He really basically does absolutely nothing. And the Ankylosaurus is going in brain rotting. He was only in it for a few levels, but when he was in it, it was absolutely terrible to deal with him, especially since we couldn't perfume shroom any of the Ankylosauruses. It was extremely hard to deal with the zombies getting pushed all the way to our lawnmowers. Okay, the caveman zombie, I don't know what's really different about him, but I think he's just like a little bit stronger or something, and he moves like weirdly. But I'm gonna put him in eh. When the T-Rex buffed him, it was really scary to go against him, but usually it's not that scary at all. The Gargantuar is just a normal Gargantuar, so I'm going to put him at minor inconvenience because he doesn't do anything special, really. Well, why would I put a Gargantuar? I'm at least going to put the Gargantuar above that dude. I don't know what I was thinking for a second. The zombies with the skulls, I'm going to put him above this dude at because it wasn't difficult to deal with him at all, but I did have to watch this more than this dude, so... Actually, I'm going to put this dude at the top of minor inconvenience, I'm not going to lie. Okay, and that is all of the Jurassic Marsh zombies slash dinosaurs. Next is, the few modern day zombies. This dude is trash. He doesn't really do anything because, you know, after he gets thrown or whatever, he gets blown up immediately. Balloon zombies, minor inconvenience because our cactus deals with them. I mean, that's practically what they're made for. Football zombie is brain rotting. He can run past basically everything. The spike weed barely does anything to him. The only way we can stop him really is, you know, spike rocks boosting our cactuses and the spike rock boosted spike rocks themselves. Wait, why have I been saying spike rock? I meant spearmint. Spearmint boosting everything helps a lot, but still, we need something for him to, like, you know, hit so he'll stop charging. But still, actually, I'm going to put him at the top of very difficult. Okay, now, the newspaper zombie, I'm going to put him at the top of because after you break his newspaper, obviously he goes bonanza, but Iceweed can take him out, but overall he kind of has a lot of health for everything. So I don't know. Actually, I'm gonna put him at the bottom of it. I like how my opinions change like as I'm talking about him. Anyway, this Gargantuar is just normal, so I'm gonna put him at right above the skeleton. The squid is brain rotting, and it's for obvious reasons. I mean, I feel like everybody, no matter what challenge or anything you're doing, thinks the squid is the most annoying zombie in the game. But yeah, if you played the game yourself, I think the diving zombies, sometimes they were hard to deal with, but overall, I'm just gonna put them, yeah, in right below the skeleton zombies. And it's crazy that they're more difficult to deal with just because of how much health they have. The surfboard zombies, they were only difficult on the levels where I had to protect plants, but I'm not gonna put them at minor inconvenience. They're definitely harder than the newspaper and the surf. Okay, I'm gonna put them in front of the scuba diving zombie, the fisherman zombie. Holy brain rotting! I don't think he's more annoying than the fisherman. I think the Ankylosaur is below. Is it just me, or do I usually say Ankylosaur or Ankylosaur? Because I feel like that's how I pronounced it when I was like a kid or something. But I want to know, do you guys pronounce it like I did when I was a kid, Ankylosaur? Or I'm pretty sure it should be pronounced Ankylosaur like I've been saying. But anyway, fisherman brain rotting for sure. I think we all know why. It's crazy that he can pull spike rocks if he's close enough. But yeah, I kind of hate it. I wish my cactus would like hide from him when he sees the big fishing rod coming at him, and that he's slowly being dragged into the water. But you know, I guess not every plant is like smart like that. And thank you guys for all of the support on all of these videos. I am a woke person. I am not AI. I actually have feelings, believe it or not, and I am so grateful to have fans like you guys. All the people who comment on every video and watch every video, you know who you are, and I also know who you are. Not like full name, address, or anything, but like, you know, on the inside. But again, thank you guys, and I will see y'all in another challenge video soon. Soon as in like, you know, 5 years or so.